Morning, Mark. Another week, another programme.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
You were going to the cinema. You didn't go see that film you were threatening to see, did you?
What, the Christian film?
Yeah.
Breakthrough. Yes, I did. I did go to see it. And it was everything I thought it would be. Actually, no, it wasn't that bad. I've seen really bad ones. Although it did sort of stick to the Christian tropes. It's a film called Breakthrough. It's a new film, an American Christian drama, and it's based on a book, of course, a book called The Impossible. It tells the story of a St. Louis teenager, 14 years old, who slips through the ice and nearly dies. You can see where this is going. In the ambulance afterwards, the Christian mother prays, and although his heartbeat is gone, it comes back. And that is basically it in a nutshell. But what really amazed me about this film is that it was about the doctors in the hospital and their efforts. But
God got all the plaudits.
Yes, yes.
So from what I can tell from the trailer, he was under the ice for an inordinate long amount of time.
Yeah, 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, so therefore he should be dead and gone, and God saved him.
Yes. One of the paramedics who pulls him up, he's about to give up, and then he hears a voice and thinks it's his boss saying, go back and try again. It turns out to be God, and of course this is one of the tropes. He is the atheist who finds God in the middle of the drama. And converts, I guess, at the end. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't truly excruciating like some of these are. It did have that long, drawn-out way of direction, which a lot of these films have, and they're really lame attempts at humor because they can't be edgy because it's a Christian drama. they just can't be.
This seems to be the latest thing I'm noticing this all over the place.
It's the latest thing.
I died and came back to life, or therefore the Bible's true, sort of thing.
This seems to be the thing.
We're hitting it with street preachers. We're seeing it online.
Yeah, I have family members who I heard on the 700 Club, but so-and-so died, went to heaven, came back, wrote a book, you should read this book.
I mean, in this case, what the Christians don't seem to realise, it's quite common for people to fall into freezing water and live very long amount of time because your body goes into sort of like a hibernation mode, your brain goes into hibernation mode because it's trying to protect itself from the oxygen starvation. And you can live for a long period of time, and it's the cold water that causes that.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, in surgery, they deliberately put people on ice.
And the kid was 14. He's in the middle of the growth spurt and everything. His body is going to be working overtime to keep himself alive. This was a true story, by the way. Based on a true story.
Yeah, well, it could be. And I've no doubt someone did fall under the ice and lived through it. But most of the organs in the body can last a long time before they die off. It's the brain that dies off quickest, and when you put someone on ice, which whacking them under frozen water is effectively doing, everything just slows down, so the brain can survive a lot longer without the blood flow. It's great, it's fantastic.
But the kid is in a coma for days and days and days, right? And the paramedics did everything, the doctor did everything. Even the mother came up with this idea of, take him off all the medicine and let him try to recover by himself, and that's how he does eventually come back.
So did they explain why God put him through this?
In the first
place?
Well, to show off how cool he is, obviously, with his powers. This is always the thing which gets me. It's like, you're a Christian family. It's established that they're a Christian family. He sits back, watches them fall through the ice, watches everyone in the family go through utter anguish, waits for the family and everyone, the whole community seems to be Christian, to beg God, and then beep, beep, the heart comes back, and then the kid's still in hospital for 4 days with all the staff working their butts off to...
Dare I say it doesn't sound loving?
It's for people who aren't religious anymore, it just really begs the question, what is the point? But that's just me.
But I think we're going to see more of this. I don't think this I died and gone to heaven phase is going to go away very quick, because
it seems to work for them.
God's becoming into a smaller circle that's diminishing all the time, as we're going to see from the next story.
Yes, absolutely. As really the film itself was a win for science, if you think about it, because it was science that saved the kid.
Yeah.
This is an actual win for science, isn't it? And this comes from the Epoch NewYorkTimes.com. South African doctor cures deafness with first ever middle ear transplant using 3D technology. Now, this isn't a religious story. This is a science win, which we like to do sometimes on the show. A South African doctor and his team successfully pioneered a transplant of a patient's middle ear using 3D technology to cure his deafness, making it the first in the world. The groundbreaking procedure offers hope to many of those who suffer from loss of hearing. The surgery may be the answer to conductive hearing loss and middle ear problems. The first patient to receive the transplant was a 35-year-old man who suffered hearing loss as a result of a car accident that damaged his inner ear, according to a press release by the South African government. Using 3D technology, he was able to recreate the bones, the hammer, anvil, stirrup, and the ossicles that make up the inner ear, thus replacing the damaged one. Now, how Star Trek is that?
I love this story for many, many reasons. So science has basically thwarted God's attempt to at making that guy suffer by not having any hearing. Because, of course, God was only testing him by making sure he was deaf. That's always the...
Yeah, so they bypassed
that's what we get told in the comments all the time.
Yeah, they went down the science route. Yeah, there you go, answer.
So science has thwarted God yet again. Blimey. So, yet again, God sinks into a smaller circle. There's another thing I like about this, because it will just annoy the evangelical Christians in America. It was a black South African doctor that did it. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, yeah, so it is. Yeah.
Yes. It's great. I mean, the leaps and bounds in science, but seriously, the leaps and bounds in science are just fantastic what we're doing now. And can you imagine being that guy? I don't know. It doesn't say how long he had been deaf, whether it was from birth or whether he'd had some damage. But even so, can you imagine regaining your hearing when you haven't had it for years?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
And the professor who performed the operation says the patients will get their hearing back immediately, but since they will be wrapped in bandages after only 2 weeks when they are removed, they will be able to tell the difference. Now, you think of all the people who have gone to all these evangelical healing conferences and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and nothing's happened.
Gone for homeopathy.
Yeah, and then they end up going to a doctor anyway.
Yeah.
And like we said at the top of the show with the movie, they give it up to God, which... Fine, fair enough, but please acknowledge the doctors. Which I must admit, in that movie, they did actually, at the end, thank all the doctors. Which I think that's a win in itself for Christian movies.
Yeah. So I like science wins, so we're going to bring you more as we find them.
Yeah, we don't have much of a science win in Alabama at the moment, do we?
I think you would call this anti-science.
Oh, gosh. Now, we're not going to get into politics or anything, but there's a bill which is passed, and it's called the abortion ban, and it's they're banned. I think Missouri are working on this as well. Abortion, and I think in all cases, including rape and incest, and it's gone through, hasn't it?
It has.
The evangelicals' blessing.
It's basically evangelicals pushing it, and they're saying it's what the Bible says, effectively. Life starts at conception. All life is special. But we know not all life is special, because those same Christians will happily go out and hunt. A lot of them, not all of them, will happily go out and hunt giraffes and lions. So we know life isn't special to them. So that's nonsense. But the
science is a bit wonky here. They don't know the science in terms of...
No, because
it's called the heartbeat bill, isn't it?
And there's
it's
some
all about
hilarious, and there's some hilarious things about when they think women know they're pregnant. I mean, one of the
that quote.
The senators actually said something along the lines of, "There's a time before a woman knows she's pregnant. She knows she's pregnant." And yet, what? How can you know you're pregnant?
She can only get an abortion until she knows she's pregnant. It's like, well, if you don't know, why would you get an abortion?
Like the whole thing,
preemptive strike or something.
Just a nonsense. But the thing is, they know this goes against federal law. They have no plans to actually bring this in. This is a concerted effort by several states to actually overturn Roe versus Wade, so to stop abortions, completely make them illegal and turn America into some backwards.
And Roe versus Wade was the big Supreme Court win back, what was it, 20, 30 years ago?
God, a long time ago.
Where they stopped abortion from being illegal in the United States.
Yeah. And the thing is, all it is men wanting to control women. If you look at the people who made the decision, it was 20-odd white, middle-aged, old men. Not a single woman was taking part in this decision. And you know damn well these people aren't going to want to look after the kids once they're born.
That's a point.
They absolutely won't. So life isn't precious then, is it? Or sacrosanct then. But they let it slip. They absolutely let it slip. Why? This is about controlling women. Because someone asked the question, what about fertilized eggs in test tubes waiting to be implanted into women? And they said that doesn't count because they're not in the women. They are fertilized by their own rules. That's life, and that's sacred. They don't care about them. This is about controlling women, nothing more, nothing less. These blokes have had their whole lives being top dogs, being able to tell their women what to do. They were literally around in the era where they could slap women around. They were in the house, had to be told what to do. Absolutely hate the fact that women are gaining anywhere near equality, and they are nowhere near equality yet. But so this is all about controlling women.
But there's none of that in the Bible, surely.
Yes, indeed. But that's what it's about. So without going into the politics of it, because it has been attached to one side of the political spectrum, but it's about controlling women. And I like there's a massive movement in one of the states to withhold sex until they withdraw this bill. So that's good. So the men will be...
A lot of stuff is happening at the moment in protest to this.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, you don't see in banning laws saying blokes shouldn't masturbate and waste seed. You don't see them.
But they should, surely.
Which is in the Bible. You don't see them.
That's true.
Say,
good luck enforcing that.
Ban sex with contraception.
Yep.
Do you?
No, don't see
so, exactly. So this is all. Oh, men, you can carry on doing whatever you want, but women, no, you horrible, dirty, evil, blood dripping.
Yeah, you bleed when we want to have sex with you. How dare you?
I'm surprised these are the same guys who would send them away for a week. Send them away for a week. Yes. We don't want you near us, selling us. Idiots. That's all I can say.
Oh, gosh.
The thing is, this is going to be interesting because we are in a period where the Supreme Court has people on it and we don't know how they're going to rule on this in the long term. So it could be very dangerous for women's rights, and it actually could be dangerous for women. It will be temporary, though, because the progressives are coming through. The younger generation are more progressive. They're not going to turn into those old. So let's beat it before it becomes a law. Keep campaigning against it, because otherwise we'll just keep campaigning to overturn it, and we will win.
Yeah, and the next thing they're going to do is ban atheism. That'll be the next thing.
Well, in Saudi Arabia already, if you're an atheist, you are classed as a terrorist. So that just shows you what religion can do when it gets a full foothold, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in America.
Well, according to the Wall Builders live radio show, which is a Christian radio show, atheists don't even exist, Neil, so they don't have to worry about it. Did you see that on the Friendly Atheist?
Go on, explain it to me.
Atheists don't actually exist, says Christian pseudo-historian's son. During a statement on the Wall Builders live radio show hosted by Christian pseudo-historian David Barton, co-host Tim Barton argues that atheists don't even exist because they would have to have all the knowledge in the world.
Most of the people that I have met or encountered who claim to be atheists are not atheists because they've actually done the research, which I think it's worth noting. The best you can be, if you're going to be intellectually honest, the best you can be is an agnostic, saying, I don't really know if there's a God or not. You actually can't be an atheist. To be an atheist, you have to be able to make a definitive claim there is no God. In order for you to make that claim, you have to have all knowledge, which I've never met even an atheist who acknowledges they know everything there is to know. So is it possible that there could be a God and you just don't know it? Well, if they say no, then they're acknowledging they know everything there is, which first of all is a problem. But secondly, let's say that you did have a great level of knowledge and understanding. Not only do you have to know everything there is to know to say with any kind of definition there is no, or definitiveness there is no God, you also have to be omnipresent, be everywhere at the same time, because what if God is in South Africa while you're in Switzerland? And then you go to South Africa, but God's now over in New Zealand while you're in South Africa. You have to be everywhere at the same time to say that there is no God. So the best you can be is an agnostic and say, I'm not really sure if there is a God or not, because you don't have the knowledge you need to say there is no God. Generally what happens from people that are atheists is they're an atheist out of frustration, out of pain, out of, the hypocrisy of the church, the hypocrisy of the people. It's not because they've actually done the research.
So there you go, Neil. We have to have all the knowledge in the universe, right?
He's saying some stupid stuff about
So we're
where it's God at the
agnostics.
time and all that.
We're
But
agnostics.
let's go back to the basics. This man is either being intellectually dishonest,
No.
or he's an ignorant, whatever you want to call it. The word Gnostic means knowing.
Yes, that's right.
The word agnostic means not knowing.
Yeah.
There is no... I know people use the word agnostic, but there is no such thing as an agnostic. It doesn't exist. It says nothing about your belief system at all. It's a position of knowledge. Now, the only dishonest people in this conversation, okay, well, let's say vast majority of dishonest people, are the people who say they are Gnostic Christians. So you get four different things. You get Gnostic Christians, they're people who say, or religious people who say, they know there's a God.
And there are plenty of those.
Know what? And there's tons of those. You get agnostic Christians, who are the honest ones, who say, I don't know, but I think there is.
Well, I hope there is.
I don't have enough knowledge to know if there is a God, but I believe there is because of reading this, blah, blah. That's an honest position to take. There is no just agnostic. It just doesn't exist. So then you go switch from agnostic Christians to agnostic atheists, who are people who say, I don't know for sure if there's a God because I don't have enough evidence, because you literally can't get the evidence. Therefore, I am an atheist. When most people say they are an atheist, they are an agnostic atheist. I've never encountered anyone
who says, I know
who is
absolutely.
a Gnostic atheist.
Yeah.
Never encountered anyone who says, I know there's no God.
Yeah.
Because
There will be some, but
there will be, but it'll be a tiny, tiny amount.
I can't recall any.
No, because it just doesn't.
It's basically, I don't have enough evidence in a God to satisfy me.
It would be a completely dishonest position to take. Because most atheists who have come, he also says they haven't come to it through investigating it. I think you'll find there's a lot of atheists investigated the Bible, and that's why they're atheists.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. Just read it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Okay, skip Numbers and Chronicles, but
This
read
one
it.
drives me mad, and there'll even be atheists out there. I know there will on the comments who are having a go at me because every time I mention this, they have a go. But it's simple. Gnostic means you know. Agnostic means I don't know.
No stick.
So the four different things are Gnostic, Deist, Agnostic, Deist, Agnostic, Atheist, Gnostic, Atheist. There is no such thing as agnostic. This guy knows this. He's a dishonest. Tim, you are dishonest. You're being dishonest. You are being dishonest. Because if you're not being dishonest, you're an ignorant twat. You're one of the two. You choose. It really gets my goat, this one. Anyway, go on. There must be more to this article.
Well, we'll just read what Hemant Mehta says in this article. But just to respond to the biggest claim, atheists do not say there is no God. You can't prove that in any definitive way. We get that. Unlike religious people, however, we don't pretend to understand what we can't possibly know. The burden of proof is always on the people making the claim, so it's up to religious people to prove their God actually exists. This idea that all atheists are actually agnostics is a cheap apologetics trick that suggests we're even closer to accepting God than anyone might imagine. However, it's never really a mic drop moment. All atheists, certainly the ones I know, are open to the possibility of God's existence. Show us proof, and we'll believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He nails that there. And it is so... it makes me laugh that these Christian radio shows or TV shows or whatever it be, they think that they've got this mic drop moment. They go, boom, atheists, well, you're done. And we're just like, God, you're thick.
But it's really just to bolster up their already believing audience.
Yeah, because they don't want people to go out and investigate for themselves. So if they've come up
and
with
they're
already...
probably afraid that, oh gosh, some of their family members are atheists and are saying stuff which is bothering them, which is making them think. So if you say, well, that person or the people you encounter in the street who are atheists, they're not really atheists anyway, so there's nothing to worry about.
And there will be a couple of people in the comments who mention that Jainism is as close to agnostic as you can get.
No doubt.
But there's
Or Buddhism.
very few Jainists in the world.
I know one. Yes, it's interesting. Oh gosh, well, I think we've come more or less to the end of the show, but I do want to talk about the Evolution Soup YouTube channel, which has existed for a couple of years, but I've not really been doing too much with it. There's a few sort of mirrors and that sort of thing on there. I've been concentrating on the Talk Belief interviews and so forth, but now I've started doing interviews for Evolution Soup, and I would love it if you could support it, because I would like to build up this channel and get these interviews out there. I've already interviewed my friend Mike, who is an archaeologist, and he talks about his walk across the United States, encountering creationists and what they thought of him. That was very interesting. I'm also going to upload soon another interview with John Perry from Stated Clearly, and that is evolution science, because some people say it's not science, doesn't meet its burden of proof. So we look into that. And I'm just about to interview Ella Baudouin, who is a paleoanthropologist, and she's a fantastic young woman who has worked out in the field in Africa, has a lot of great stories to tell, and I'm really looking forward to bringing that to the YouTube channel. So please go over and subscribe.
Yes, I do go over and check out the YouTube channel, because we're on Instagram as well, as Evolution Soup is exploding at the moment. It's going so well.
Gone through the roof.
Yeah. But YouTube's taking a little longer to catch up, so we'll get there. But it's glad to see so many people interested in the subject.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been concentrating on Instagram. It's so much fun. And that's just really bringing information and paleo art and just getting evolution out there. But now I want to build up the YouTube channel, and that's going to start happening with everyone's support. Because we don't like science denial, do we, Neil?
No, that's my biggest...
You really don't like it.
No. That's the thing that makes me angriest of the lot, because... Science denialists, what they have to do, they start at one position of science denial, and then they seem to just end up at another, whether it be from anti-vaxxers, and then they end up being climate change deniers and evolution deniers, and the world needs people to understand that science works. It's a method and it works.
And they do utilize science in their everyday life, whether it be their iPhone or when they go in and get an operation which saves their lives. It's all science. Just to look at one little aspect of it and say, this is completely wrong, it's all lies, that's disingenuous.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay then. Looks like it's a sunny day, and we're going to go out and enjoy ourselves and see what's going to come up for next week's show. Could be interesting.